What led me here was I started teaching in 2005. And I started teaching women about how to get clear on their dreams and goals and vision for their lives and how to make it happen. And that's what I called it at the time, because if you said manifesting to people, they just didn't understand what manifesting was in 2005. Now you say manifesting, everyone's like, oh yeah, I manifest. And one of the fascinating things for me is, as I was doing workshops and seminars around the world, and working more and more with my clients, I started doing online programs in 2009. And the big block that I kept seeing so many women come up against as they were moving into their dreams and goals was the money. What about the money? Oh, I'd love to follow my passions, but the money. I'd love to leave corporate and jump into a full-time, passionate, creative coaching, helping spiritual career, but what about the money? And even those people who did jump into their dreams and goals, so often were getting tripped up, caught up in the money. And the fascinating thing for me is that I got tripped up as a spiritual entrepreneur in the money. So before 2005, I'd run 4 different businesses. 2 of them had been highly successful. The first one was successful. The middle 2 were disasters, but I learned a lot of lessons. And the 4th one was really successful. I sold it, and then went on an amazing sabbatical, and then moved into my teaching. And what I found, Helena, was I was doing this, what I believed was my soul work, my purpose work in the world. And I had been doing it for 3 or 4 years. And I remember sitting one day at my dining room table, and I looked at my bank account and I cried my eyes out, because it just didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense to me that I was doing workshops in 5 different countries. I had just been asked to write a book, and which went on to become a bestseller, and my bank balance wasn't reflecting it. Like, the money wasn't reflecting it. And I knew that I knew how to make money. So it wasn't like, oh, I've never been good with money. In my 20s, I'd been exceptional with money, and I'd run successful businesses. I'd run multi-million businesses. So I was just like, what is going on here? And then I started doing a whole lot of the money mindset and money block work that I do often as a first step with my students. And I realized that the big money block that was sitting in my life was, you can be spiritual or wealthy. And my previous business that had been really successful was in marketing and advertising. And my biggest clients were tobacco, alcohol, and life insurance.
Wow.
Right. Okay.
Where was big oil in that?
Exactly. Right. So when I was marketing tobacco, alcohol, and life insurance, no problem. I could make multi-millions. But as soon as I went into my purpose, making a difference, coaching, healing work, which is what your entrepreneurs, your torchbearers here listening to this are about, I was doing the work. It was successful. Like, I had people coming to the seminars, but the money wasn't working. And so I then started doing my own healing on my own money mindset, my own money emotions. And as I was going through the process, and for most of you on this call and listening to the recording, you know that as you've gone through your own healing processes, you have then been called to teach and moved to make a difference and make an impact. And so for me, it was like, and so many of my clients were hitting up against their money stuff and money blocks, of course. And so I started doing seminars around South Africa. At the time, I was based in South Africa, and I was doing seminars around South Africa on money. They were 2-hour seminars, and then so many people, and helping people shift their money blocks. And then so many people were coming up to me afterwards and then saying, great, wonderful. And how do I start saving? How do I get out of debt? How do I invest? How do I do all the practical stuff with money? Mm-hmm. Because what happens when you start to shift your emotional and mental blocks around money, then you want to get practical with it. you want to start doing the physical, practical stuff. And that stuff I had, that foundation I'd had in my 20s. And also I'd come out of an investment background, having studied a finance degree, an honors in finance. So I thought, people are really struggling with the practicalities. And I put together my 9-week Money Magic program in 2011. And since then, I've been running it. I've had thousands of women come through that 9-week program and get holistically into fantastic relationship with women. So not just, and there are a lot of money teachers out there, but what I find is that some people teach mindset and money blocks and shifting that. And some people teach the energy, spiritual woo-woo of money. And other people teach the practical budgets and getting out of debt. And some people teach investing. But there are not many of us that are teaching real, thriving, abundance, energy work, mindset, emotional, spiritual, physical, practical aspects of money. And that's why I teach about money.